Says I'm live. Okay. So I am going to start with a quick apology as I fly back to the Battle Maison. Asbestos says fly. So, I have noticed, or I'm sure you have noticed, I am starting this 40 minutes late. Gwen and I were recording our thoughts on the Switch 2 experience, and it ran a little longer than, like, not that it was longer than anticipated, just longer than we had time for. But I figured we might as well do our best to get all of our thoughts out and not like rush ourselves too much, but we did kind of try to speed up as we could, but it is what it is. I'm gonna take my party with me. We are going to lead Asbestos. Oh, we only get 2, that's right, okay. Whew. I feel like we gotta go Asbestos and Citrine. Sylveon Gudra, Halucha Talonflame. Rancham Auroras might be interesting. That's what I'm going to go with. I don't know that these will be good, but we'll see. Multi-battle begin. Yeah, so we recorded our thoughts on the Switch 2 experience. I'm not going to talk much about it here. So just stay tuned for that video to go live. I'm going to spend like the next few days of lunches at work trying to put together all of that. But yeah, keep an eye out. It'll be out eventually. Okay, it's going pretty well so far. Uh-oh. Go away. Nice. I will say, Switch 2 related, not Switch 2 thoughts related. For the Switch 2, I am not going to be transitioning to 4K streaming. Just going to start off with that. Not doing that. Like, kind of my upper limit is 1080 60 for this computer. If I wasn't running games on it at times and stuff, I might be able to do 4K, but it would also mean I would lose out on being able to have like minimum latency, which would be no fun. Additional things, I will be getting a 4K capture card. That's something I do plan to do. I've been using this capture card that's in this computer for almost a decade, and it has lasted me so long. You know, I'm not using it right now, but you know, I use it anytime I'm using my Switch to stream. Elgato makes them good. What can I say? Like, it has lasted a decade. That is insane to me. Uh-oh. That's a little scary. But yeah, I'm going to be getting their 4K internal card. Like, I already checked, it has HDR support, it has VRR support. My biggest concern would be that I wouldn't be able to stream, obviously, in HDR, but that it would make the streams look bad if I was running the games in HDR, so I'm going to have to see how that works. And maybe I can, like, force it to look good. Like, maybe there's some settings I can tweak to make it sort of simulate a normal viewing experience, even if the game is running in HDR or something like that. We'll see. But I'm gonna be getting a new TV. It's in 4K. So my current TV is not. It's decidedly not. It is, I think, like 768p or something like that. So it'll be my first new TV. Literally since college, I've had this TV, I want to say since like 2018 college. And this TV is older than that. Like, it's just an old cheap TV. So I am looking forward to forced upgrades. Not that I would have to get the upgrades, but that it would be worthwhile. Gotharita. I feel like multi-battles are just so much easier than doubles, because it's like doubles, but if you take out 2 Pokemon on one half of the field, like, you're good. Oh, you know what? Actually, I will. I guess it has. I haven't streamed since the direct. The game's getting free updates, including Scarlet and Violet, is very cool to me. I'm so excited for those games to not run poorly. I'm genuinely so hyped for that. That's gonna be very big. Rude. He does not miss. And goodbye, Poniard. Bro just came in and got rocked. I will show one thing that I show in the thing, but it's not actually connected to the Switch 2 experience. It's just that while we were in New York City, we went to the Nintendo New York store. I got this little Waluigi, and he can mop it around a bit. I love him. And he just sits. I just sit him somewhere.
He turns anything into a horse.
He does. I like to put him onto things to ride like a cowboy. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do my usual coil here. I'm gonna check out my Aurorus. How dare you? First turn Thunderwave? That's just rude. Why the Giga Impact? I guess normally this thing would have Refrigerate, but it's not running it now. Oh, that's beefy damage. Uh-oh. Auroras might be going down. Oh, not quite. Okay, at least took Skiploom out. Okay, they finish off Aurorus. Do we hit? Do we... Nope. Okay. Listen, you can actually tell with Archeops that it's a lower poly, like, shadow. That's interesting. A little peek behind the curtain there. when you're at least running at a higher resolution than this game's meant to run at. If I was to switch this to... Where is it? I think I'd have to configure the settings. I don't want to have to do all that. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. I'll just bolt tackle. It's not very effective, but it's going to be doing 75% of the normal damage at least. What a rude trainer. That's just gonna nuke them both, yeah. Goodbye. Chespin and Rattata. Well, I'm gonna focus the Rattata and hope that Auroras takes out the Chespin. Not that either are a big threat, we're still early in these. Nice. Also, I do have some news. The commission for this, like, final team's artwork is well underway now. It's cooking. And I guarantee it is going to be so cool. Like, y'all are going to love it when it's done. You can trust me on that. This looks like another earthquake to start. I'm gonna coil in case someone survives and tries to hit me. Oh, is Boldor immune? Is Boldor levitate? Hello? Ooh. Symbiosis was not, you know, a normal ability option there, so that very interesting that it just got lucky that that was the case. That was a beefy rock smash. Hello, Fletchender. Also, I hope people enjoyed the fact that I made a bunch of shorts, like, semi-recently with, like, the Switch 2 news and stuff. And I think that format of shorts is pretty fun to do. So honestly, I might do some more where it's just like me giving my thought on like a random piece of news that came out about some random thing. I don't know. It's a lot easier than trying to like actually like, having to go through and like edit a short together. To just like record stream of consciousness with a really crappy green screen background. I don't know. And I can like stick my head wherever I want it to be. If you couldn't tell, I had some fun with the one where it was like me peeking up above my like Switch experience pass. Oh, actually, one thing I will mention. The video, when it comes out, will have some unshown footage from inside the Switch 2 experience. And some photos or mayhaps. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I edit it. If I want to include the video or the photos, or if I just want to have the videos. But yeah, that should be a cool time. I guess I could talk a little bit about stuff from our New York City trip that was not related to the Switch 2 experience, though. So, for those who don't know, I can't have gluten. So, like, I'm a little restricted dietary-wise by that. And while we were in New York City, it was like, I want to try a pizza that people say is, like, very good. I didn't find one that was like a New York style slice. I did want to try to do that maybe, but I opted to just go for the best that we heard was there. It's a place called Don Antonio's. They also have a lot of like fried things that are gluten-free, which is really nice. That's like not super common. A lot of places will have like shared fryers, but they had several things that like were all gluten-free and fried, and just obviously we're not fried in a shared fryer. From what I saw from any of the reviews and stuff and from the website, it just said gluten-free, and I was like, all right, well, I'll try it. That was really good, but the pizza was amazing. It's the biggest thing is that most places, if you get a gluten-free pizza, they all get the same really crappy crust. Some places experimented with making their own for a while, and maybe they all just settled on the same kind of crappy ingredients. But like early on, I remember like Domino's was pretty good. Domino's now, it's not bad. Like pizza's pizza. Like pizza, it's pizza. But Domino's early on had like a pretty good crust. I've seen a couple places that had like a really good gluten-free crust. But it's just not particularly common. But Don Antonio's in New York City. They impressed me, and like, cause Gwen had it too, and she was like, I would happily eat this. Like, just if you put this in front of me, this is a good crust, like gluten-free or otherwise. She tried their normal crust, and she was like, this is better. This is better, but very good. Just a very satisfying texture. We tried right down the block, like it was like a block and a half away from us or something. Was a bagel place that, they do run the risk of cross-contamination at their facility, but a lot of people said that they've never had issues, so we tried it. It's a place called P.O. Bagel. P-I-O Bagel. Delicious. Very good bagels. I tried their sesame, gluten-free, and I tried their everything bagel. I don't like any of the typical bagel fillings, so I just got them just as they were. And they were both good. I'm not like a massive bagel guy, so like I wasn't like, this is the best thing ever, this has revolutionized my life, but like it was good. It was very good, and it was one of those things where you can tell that this is good quality food. So that was cool. We tried an Italian place for pasta. That they have a few different locations. They have like 2 in New York, 1 in New Jersey, 1 in Las Vegas, and 1 in the Bahamas, oddly enough. What was it called? Let me check my email, because I have like the email receipt. Where is it? Where is it? It was Carmine's. Carmine's. Very good. So they had family style portions. I saw that pasta that I got. So what? Very cool. They did not increase the price from what I saw because I ordered a gluten-free dish. That's very rare. But we got pasta, and I was like, it's $50. That's a lot. And then I saw the number of servings. It says feeds 2 to 4, and I was like, that sounds like it might be a good bit. And I saw the reviews, and people were like, it's family style portions. You get a lot. You get a lot of bang for your buck. So we got something there. It was delicious. The cheese. Oh my God, their cheese was good. They also sold their cheese by the pint, and I was like, it's tempting. That was good cheese. But yeah, we got this like giant thing. It was like a dish like that big of just pasta. So much. It was very good. We could not fit it in our hotel microwave to reheat, so we had to use we used the little paper coffee cups that say "Don't microwave me," and we did it. We're rebels. Yeah, that was very good. The food in general was just very good. We got a little like gluten-free like cookie bar at a place called Culture Espresso, which is where Gwen primarily got her coffee while we were there. She really liked it. She said it was very good. I don't drink coffee, but while we were there one day, I did get like a little like cookie bar thing, and it was quite good. They have a sign that says that they won like a competition for their normal chocolate chip cookie, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like their cookie was very good, and gluten free, and I'm like, I can only imagine that it is even better with gluten. The one I got was like, it was chocolate chip peanut butter, and that was amazing. Very strong combo. Trying to think if there was other exciting food things at the hotel. Food, it was all right. Like for breakfast, we stayed at the so the event that we went to, the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, was at a place called Center 415. That was literally like down the block across the street. I chose the Spring Hill Suites Midtown Hotel. Just like 3-star. The breakfast was alright. Hotel breakfasts very rarely have a lot of gluten-free options. I will say our hotel had a very small footprint. It was the smallest hotel I've ever seen footprint-wise. Because it's just the New York City experience right there. The breakfast area was like the size of Gwen and I's living room, and it's not a big living room here. For a hotel with 16 floors and at least 6 rooms per, or at most 6 rooms per floor. So if we assume that half of the hotel are the smallest rooms or something like that, that's at least 8 floors of 6 rooms. So there's a lot of people. trying to cram into that breakfast space. But also because it had such a small footprint, they had so little space for the food itself. So it was like you could get cereal and milk, toast, banana, and like eggs, or you could get these like veggie sausage patties. So I could only really get eggs of that because things like veggie burgers often contain like wheat as like a binding agent, or gluten as a protein source. So I was like, I'm not gonna try the veggie patties. So I just had eggs and bananas. Those were my breakfasts. Eggs and or bananas. But the hotel itself was fine. Like we stayed in this tiny little studio room. The room that we stayed in was in total smaller than our living room. Like it was a tiny space. Living the real New York City experience there. Staff was very nice, very helpful. Parking was cheaper than expected. So I knew that it was $60 a day. I thought it was going to be you get charged $60 for the day. But the parking was calculated at a much higher resolution than I expected. It was down to the minute. And so because we got there Friday afternoon, we went to the Switch 2 experience Saturday. We did not drive anywhere on those days. We were just parked the entire time in that on the rooftop parking that we were at. At our hotel's discount, it was $60 a day. But we were there only part of Friday, part of Monday, and then all of Saturday, Sunday. So we ended up only with like I think 2 days and 17 hours and some odd minutes or something like that. Just like that was the way it broke out. And so like parking was significantly cheaper than I expected. I was expecting it to be like $240, because it was like $60 a day, 4 days. But it only wound up being a little closer to like a special attack. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it only wound up being like a total of like. Oh, nice, we dodged. A total of like 180 with the amount that we did. Like the length of time we were parked. So that was very nice. Traffic was less bad than expected, and I think that was the congestion rates policy that they took up. Genuinely seemed to have helped traffic a lot. The worst traffic we saw was as we were coming into the city on Friday, which it's Friday afternoon. A lot of people are coming into New York City that day, at that time. We came in through the Holland Tunnel, and like the area around it was pretty packed, but that was also because we had to go around a block, and then we were in the traffic of people also going into the Holland Tunnel. So traffic was a little worse there because it was just a high traffic area in general, like there's a lot of cars there. But other than that, like traffic was not that bad. We walked a lot on Sunday when we went to the like Nintendo store and a couple other places. We walked like a total of like 4 miles that day. I was like looking at my Google Fit, and my average calories burnt in a day just by existing, I added 1,000 to by walking that. It was crazy. trying to think of other cool notes. I barely remember to take a picture of the Empire State Building, even though we were 2 blocks away from it. It was like literally as we were leaving, I was like, "Oh, I haven't taken a picture of this," and I like looked up over the buildings across the street from us towards it and just took a picture, and then we headed out. The drive from Pittsburgh to New York City, it's long, but it is a very pretty drive. I think that's generally just going across Pennsylvania is very pretty. I think going north to south in Pennsylvania can be varying levels of pretty. If you're like doing that through central PA, like straight through the mountains going north south, gorgeous. But if you're going across the state, you'll always hit those mountains at some point. It's very, very pretty when you're there. Recoiling. Okay, we're gonna fly. You're gonna miss me. No, Aurora's flinched. Goodbye, Persian. Unfortunately, that Persian was the slowest one. Okay, I'm just gonna take that Sharpedo out. Because I have Volt Tackle. Uh-oh. Goodbye, Aurorus. I was hoping to avoid them taking out Aurorus, but I guess it is a Sharpedo. Aqua Jet is a little bit to be expected. Volt Tackle. Oh, I forgot this thing's bulky. Well. I'm gonna use Fly then. One thing I will say that surprised me when we were in New York City was just the price of food was so much lower than I expected it to be. Like, you know, we did definitely, like, when we were getting like pizza and when we were getting like the pasta and stuff, like, we went to some places that were like not super pricey, but that, you know, were a little nicer and so like had a little more cost associated with them. But like, for example, one of my pizzas, so they add $4 to make it gluten-free at the place that we went, and the cost of one of my pizzas was like $21 to $27, depending on the one that I got. The first one I got was cheaper and simpler, and the second one I got towards the end of the weekend was one of the more complex ones that was pricier. For a similarly priced pizza, I could get like a Domino's pizza, you know, for a similar price. That's smaller, has a worse crust, has lower quality ingredients, and that lacks like, I don't know, just like a nice texture, which is crazy to me. Like, you know, if my pizza, like if I was to get like a 3-topping pizza that's gluten-free from like Domino's, it's like $18 to deliver it. For $21, I was able to get a much nicer one delivered. And if I was to like load up on different like vegetable toppings and stuff, like if I wanted a complex topping pizza from Domino's, it would be like a total of maybe $34 for a gluten-free small. And the place we went, like, it was $27 for a larger pizza with high quality meats and a ton of toppings. Insane. You know, that like as the quality got higher, the value actually increased with it. You know, when it came to like the like bagels, they were reasonably priced. The cookie thing that I got, I would say for like a gluten-free cookie at like that was like made at a specific place that we were at, like a decent price. The pasta we got was $50, but it was so much. Like, we ate 2/3 of it because we were hungry after the switch to experience. Like, just from standing around a lot. You had to yell if you were in the venue. Like, it was a lot. We were hungry. We ate like 2/3 of that pasta and still had enough left for me to eat it as lunch, or for both of us to eat it as lunch the next day. And then we still had some left for me to have as breakfast on our last day. It was insane.
I bought an entire bag of pastries for like 10-12 bucks.
Yeah, Gwen got like, it was like 4 different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, wow. And it's like, I think it's partially because in New York City, like, more people rely on the food that's available to purchase because, you know, some people's apartments just don't have like even a kitchenette. So like some people just can't reliably cook, even in like an apartment. So more people rely on that food. So the food just ends up being cheaper because it has to be. But there are some things that I know is like just more expensive in New York. But like I don't drink, but one of my coworkers is from like Long Island, and anytime he goes home, he remembers how expensive it is. It's like $12 for a beer that like here would be like 4 or 5, 3 if you're at like a cheaper bar, you know, like. But meanwhile, like the food in New York City, like we're getting these like amazing dishes, you know, relative to what we could get here, for relatively less money. I was just like, wow. that was very nice. Yeah, that was some of the cool things that you won't get to hear about in the video. You know, the experience was more than just the Switch 2. Alright, I'm gonna coil and try to take out that Luminion. Goodbye, Luminion! Giga impact on the Floette. Okay. Alright. Sure. Take it out. Ooh, I don't really have anything I can do against Pachirisu, so I'm just gonna Volt Tackle and like do as much as I can with that. Hope it like paralyzes me or something. Waste its time. Okay. Well, if I hit this turn, I take it out, and Coil raises my accuracy, so... Yeah, there we go. Goodbye. Also, it's crazy to me that Nintendo was like, oh, so, you know, we're doing the Switch 2 Direct, and then they were like, anyways, Mario Kart Direct 2 weeks. And so, like, the Mario Kart World Direct is next Thursday, and I'm like, oh, man. Maybe we'll learn some stuff about this game beyond, like, the small snippets that were shown and that, like, I got to play. I'm very curious because I think Nintendo has to kind of justify the price point to people still. No, even though it's not $90 in the US, $80 is still a lot for a lot of people. And I think I understand Nintendo's argument of like, well, you know, we're considering the price point based on like the development costs of the game and like how replayable it is and stuff. And I'm like, I paid in total like $140 on Mario Kart 8 because I bought it for $60 on Wii U. I bought the DLC for I think $20. So now we're at $80. Then I bought it again for $60 on the Switch. So now we're at $140. And then I could have gotten it I didn't get the paid version of the Booster Course Pass. I have the Switch 2 expansion pass. Or sorry, the Switch Online expansion pass. So they gave it to me for free as part of that. But I would have paid for it. Like, I would have paid, like, a total of... I think that was another $20. Like, a total of, what $160? For Mario Kart 8 over the course of a decade. And it's like... If Mario Kart World lasts a decade... I'm gonna put so much time into it. Because, like... I am sometimes like I don't like to always be this way, but I do tend to lean this way a bit. But like I sometimes see the value of a game as how many hours I spent enjoying it. I don't value it on how many hours I played it, but on how many hours I enjoyed it. And I have enjoyed all of my time with Mario Kart 8. So it being, you know, what, $14 a year at this rate for me to play it was completely worth it. Like, I love that game, and it's very fun. Mario Kart World, if it's $80 and even has like $30 DLC or something, and oh, now it's $110 total, is worth it to me. Probably. Because I know I put like 200 plus hours into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and 8 on Wii U. Like in total, like, across those two versions. I put in like over 200 hours, and it's like... That's less than $1 per hour of fun. You know? So it's like, if I get more than 80 hours of fun out of Mario Kart World, I'm happy. Like, that's good. It's good for me. Like, I won't be upset by that. But I think that a lot of people aren't sold on that yet. And I think Nintendo does have to sell people on it. And I think the Mario Kart Direct is their chance to do that. It's not good that they haven't been able to do so yet, and then they announce the price point and people are like, how is this $80? Inherently, I think it's a large scale game, and that introduces some necessary cost increases. Plus, games are more expensive these days to produce and in general, so I think that's also a factor. I think that inflation has occurred, and honestly, inflation accounts for most of the increase alone. And it's like, I get the people who kind of argue, like, oh, well, you know, inflation justifying the $80 doesn't make it easier on my wallet. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But I also don't think it's, like, Nintendo's fault that you aren't fairly paid. I saw someone break it down in a video that the Switch 2, no one would be upset right now if, since the minimum wage in the US was set at what it currently is set at, which is $7.25 per hour, the federal minimum, some states are higher, some states are at it. I live in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is at that. Like, it's, if you were to take that minimum and you were to scale it up alongside the increase in productivity and profits that, like, companies are making, like the total amount of money that a company is making on average, it would be $25 per hour today. I think that's what it was. Yeah, for the minimum. I don't even make that much. And it's like, now I'm kind of curious, like if it was, so it's like a 3.44 times increase. Oh, I put roughly my current wage in to see, and just like go to a ballpark, I could be making like $70 an hour had the increased productivity and like increased like finances that companies are making, like, or the increased, it's not finance, the increased money that companies are making. Looking at that, scaling my pay based on that, it's like $70 an hour. Wow, I could be making so much more money. And that's the thing, is like, in that time, employee salaries have gone up very little, and CEO salaries have increased by like 200%, so like twice as much. They make a lot more than the people below them do, so an increase of like 5% to a CEO who makes $1 million a year is an increase of what, like $50,000 a year, right? That's 5% of $1 million. It's a lot of money. So, like, you know, every 5% a CEO gets, the people below them, you know, aren't getting nearly as much. And I was like, that's the real reason, like, it hits people's wallets harder that the Switch 2 is expensive. And I don't think the 450 is expensive. I think the games, I could argue, or I could see the argument, are expensive. Like, you know, $80 for Mario Kart. Yeah, that's a lot. You know, even for me, that's like many hours of work. But like, it was already hours of work for me to get a normal Switch game. But I think the biggest thing that I've definitely noticed with the Switch 2 is there's just like been, and this is partially Nintendo's fault, partially just other, like, journalists' fault. The communication's been very poor. And I think that the price tag and the communication has led to a lot of people kind of getting very doomerist about it. The doomerism is really quite high around the Switch 2, and I think it leads people to be more willing to take neutral or positive statements as negatives. Like, for example, like Doug Bowser referencing variable pricing. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, so you're just saying next year it's going to be $90. And it's like, not necessarily. Now, I'm hoping that them saying, oh, our pricing is flexible, there's no true benchmark, means that games that we would normally look at and be like, that's not 60. Why are you guys charging 60 for it? Will be like 40, you know, or 50. And then, you know, games that are like a pretty standard size are going to be 70, while the ones that are maybe slightly smaller in scope are 60. Like, I think that, like, if they have multiple tiers to it, that's great. I'll be very happy if they're kind of if they're actually flexible with the pricing. But a lot of people took that as like, oh, you're saying it could go higher than 80. It's like, Mario Kart World seems to have a lot of effort put into it. It's 80 for a reason in their eyes. But then when it comes to, there's another statement Doug made. A lot of people are comparing one of his statements that he made to the Xbox One, where they were like, oh, can't afford an Xbox One? Well, buy a 360. Because he stated, you know, we understand that not everyone's going to be able to afford a Switch 2. And then from there they paraphrase in a lot of reporting that he basically says, buy a Switch 1 instead. Have a Switch 1 instead. But what he actually said was, we understand that not everyone's going to be able to afford this immediately, and that is why we plan to continue to support the Switch 2, or sorry, the Switch 1, well into the Switch 2. Like, they want to have like a number of games that are still going to be on Switch 1 that are coming to both versions, so that people don't feel burnt, you know? That people don't feel like they're greatly missing out by not having a Switch 2. Like, and that's innately going to be a thing. Like, people are going to feel like, oh, I'm missing out, I can't play Mario Kart World, and they do want some of that. But the fact that, like, Metroid Prime 4 is still coming to the Switch 1, doesn't really have to. They could have just skipped it. Gone straight to the Switch 2. The fact that a bunch of games that are on the Switch 1 are getting free updates, or $10 updates, or $20 upgrades to be able to play them like better on Switch 2, is an indication that maybe some games are just going to come to the Switch 1 and have an upgrade pack on 2. Maybe some games are going to come to the Switch and not get an upgrade pack, but get like a free update on the Switch 2. I mean, we saw Tomodachi Life is coming to the Switch 1. It wasn't even shown in the Switch 2 Direct. So it's like, they do have stuff cooking still. They do still want to have things coming to the Switch 1. So it's like, I feel like that's more so what they're trying to say. And not, if you're broke, buy the poor console. Like, I don't think that that's what they're trying to say. But there's definitely a lot of negativity around the Switch 2 right now. And I feel like that's going to fade as time goes on, especially like once it's out. I feel like no one's going to care. The grumbling will cease and people will just be playing and going, wow, this is such a good console. Like, I think that's going to be what happens. I think the biggest thing for me as well with Mario Kart's pricing is like, yeah, $80 is a lot, but at least for the first few months, they plan to have this bundle. Presumably, the Mario Kart bundle is going to be the Black Friday deal. Maybe they'll do different bundles, but, you know, presumably it's going to be something that we might see come back periodically. But it's like, if I get Mario Kart in the bundle, it's $50. It's so much cheaper than me getting it unbundled, which, you know, I do like having physical games. So, like, there is a little bit of like a, oh, is it worth it to have my first Switch 2 game be digital? And I'm like, well, but then my first one could maybe be Metroid Prime 4 as a physical copy or something like that, you know? No. Like, I understand a lot of people's hesitancy and concerns, but I'm like, I'm just excited at this point. And it's like, I get people's concerns, but I think it frustrates me when they then go, well, other people shouldn't feel excited because I don't feel excited because I'm mad. And it's like, you can be mad, but that doesn't mean that you are the only one who can experience any type of emotion, and that emotion is the only type of emotion anyone else should experience. Like, all of that, like, that's not the case. I was like, I get it. It's frustrating sometimes, but it's chill. But, that's that. I just finished the Battle Maison while talking Switch 2 a little bit. That's the end of this series. I'm not doing the Super Battle Maison on stream. I'm probably not even going to do it off stream. But from here on out, this is, I guess, a Monster Hunter Wilds channel a little bit. Expect Monster Hunter Wilds this weekend on Saturday. I'm really excited to play more Meta Ball.
Cursed.
He is beautiful. He is beautiful. He's not cursed. He's beautiful. Hopefully we'll be able to get Banana Bird this Saturday. I'd love to be able to have the full crew together. Yeah. And then, you know, we're only like 2 months away from when you'll get to see me playing, you know, Mario Kart World on stream on the first day it's out. I'm so excited. Like, literally, my plan is I'm taking the day off work, no matter what. I am going to go up to GameStop to pick up my Switch 2. I don't like to go to GameStop, but it's convenient to pre-order hardware there. It pretty much guarantees availability for me. A lot more easily than deliveries and stuff, because deliveries come to our house pretty late usually. So if I ordered a delivery, I might not even be here if I went to work and came home, you know. I'd have to wait like another 30 minutes or 2 hours even before it would arrive. But if I pick it up in person, I can get it immediately. So I think my plan is I'm just going to go up to GameStop when Gwen goes to work, and then find my way home either via like Uber or like bus or something, I don't know. Get home and immediately just boot up my Switch 2 and start playing, stream it. So like I will have to, between pre-ordering the Switch 2 and all that, like I'm gonna have to set up my like getting my Elgato 4K Pro or whatever it's called. You know, getting a new TV and all that. Like those are things that are coming down the line as I prepare for the Switch 2. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. So, thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me as long as you had some fun. That said, I'm going to go do human things as humans do, and you probably should too. Reminder, the art that I'm commissioning of this final team will be coming, and I will also note it is based on how they were at the point that I beat the Elite Four. So the move sets that might be represented in this artwork and stuff are based on that and not now. So, like, you know, obviously, like, I've replaced Chert's Aquatail with Crabhammer, for example. You know, that's not going to be what's represented in the art. If Aquatail is represented, I don't know. I didn't say it had to be, but you know, there might be some minor changes in how they're characterized, you know, with like certain moves or something. That's no longer the case here, but it's going to be awesome. Very excited for that to come fully through. Some stuff is partially done, pretty far along. Trust me, it's going to be awesome when it's done. So keep an eye out for that. I will be sharing that. If you want to see the full quality version, that will be shared in Discord. So if you want to see that, join my Discord. I don't know if uploading it to Blue Sky would have the full quality version, but I'll probably share it on Blue Sky as well. 100% chance I'm going to share it on YouTube as well, but YouTube tends to compress images quite a lot. Just keep an eye out. It'll be coming. Yeah. So you'll see that when it's done. In the meantime, I'm done with this game for now. Save one last time. Alright. I'll see y'all with Monster Hunter on Saturday. Goodbye.